Oh boy. All right. Okay. Looks like we're having some video issues here. Um, and I thought even the intro didn't even work. So hey, well, that's where we are. Welcome to the show. We're gonna start off just by doing it this way and saying welcome to Marketing Made Easy. There's no intro show or no intro video. For some reason, my computer is not cooperating, but that's okay. We're here to get right into the helping my buddy Scott, the good main man Vogel, with his dream client thing, with his chain of beliefs and to get people going from skeptical to sold. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get started, um, any thoughts? I mean, we talked a little bit about this, Scott, over the last couple of weeks and kind of why we're here. So maybe you want to introduce your thoughts around what we're going to talk about today, and then we can kind of get started on this, what it's all about. Hmm. I don't know why we were having some issue. Yeah, it did. Give me a second. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the audio. You know what? Wait a second. It's probably my total settings here. One second. Um, Thank you for letting me know that. And all right. Try again, Scott.
Monica, am I coming through now?
Yeah, I'm hoping that should work.
What Monica says. So let's start back to answer the question is why are we here this evening? We're here this evening because, thank you, Monica, great. In our conversations over the past few days and coming from 6 weeks in Atlas and totally giving in to the Atlas and dream clients and really immersing myself in it as deep as I possibly can and living it, putting it into practice, the realization came that without the chain of beliefs, everything else is meaningless. I mean, it's not meaningless, but it's kind of like we talked about. Go to the doctor and you walk in and he hands you a prescription and says, "Here you go. This will take care of it." Like, take care of what? I didn't tell you anything. So to me, understanding the chain of beliefs has got to be the foundation to me that I need to understand better. And I said to you, I've heard it. We've talked about it on many shows. We've gone through it. I've even gone through it and then said, okay, this needs to really be fleshed out even more, unpacked, unpack the genius of it because of its importance and value. And again, Joey, you and I have studied hundreds, thousands of things, read, training, hired, this and that. And after years of doing this, to find something this powerful that needs to be, again, it's the difference between avatar and dream client. Once you understand that, so that's why we're here tonight. And I spent today actually going into a Facebook group and studying it and downloading the resources and looking at how they were doing it just to see and get a feel and languaging and all of that. And as I mentioned yesterday, Joey, the beauty of it is I still have no idea what my offer or product or thingy that I'm going to sell, offer, promote, market, sell, whatever words we want to. And it's such a refreshing approach to just like have nothing attached to every conversation other than I just truly want to serve and help and where I can with my superpowers, but not guiding anyone or at nothing.
Right.
And
Right.
with there's not even a subconscious ulterior motive of, okay, maybe I'll mention something that leads them to the thingy. because it's not there. And it's an interesting, it happened not on purpose. I didn't plan to go into this part of it. I just let the process of Atlas happen,
Right.
and client from a student standpoint, as we talked about when I started this journey. And now it's like, holy crap, this chain of beliefs, they they have to believe certain things at certain times in order for them to come to pillar 3 on their timeline and say, hey, I want to engage with you. I want
Right.
to, whatever it is, what do I need to do? And it's interesting because today I saw in a group the somebody talking about dream client. They get it totally and completely, the whole dream client thing. They've been talking about it. They've got podcasts, and it, the only thing though in the group is it's a constant promotion of the program, and it's opening on this day. So it kind of like the dream client philosophy is in there, but then it's like, to me, it's an antithesis of really what's going on, because dream clients come and seek you out on their own time. And now it's like, hey, the thing is, and here's the story, and here's the thing. And each day it's more of trying to pull people into the program. Whereas everything here, and that's why I wanted to go over the chain of beliefs. And I didn't get to do any more on it because, as I said, I spent today in research mode and just learning the languaging and making notes of what are they saying in that area. And then tomorrow I'll go play in the teachers who are my audience. So I kind of looked at, what are they saying about marketing in their business? Now I want to see what the teachers are talking about.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
now I've got that. So so that's where I'm at. And that's why, thanks for letting me take a few extra minutes to explain here tonight. And as we went live yesterday, I felt it was so important for anybody that's watching live, hashtag live, or replay, hashtag replay. Give us some love so that they know that you love us. And this is good stuff. And maybe they'll put it somewhere that,
Maybe. Maybe the Facebook gods will give us a little bit of thumbs up themselves.
Something, some algorithm somewhere will recognize, a robot will go, hey, something happened there. So do it if you wouldn't mind. And I'm excited because we did talk about the different parts. The beginning and the end are pretty simple. Well, not pretty simple. The
I would say the beginning is a little tricky to some people, and I think I just come up with another idea for that, which I think you're going to love when we go through this. But yeah, the end part is easy. The end part is simple.
Okay,
Buy my thing, right? So
yeah, buy my thing, but buy my thing because of me and my thing.
yeah,
And you're the only one that can provide this thing. So that's it. There's nobody else out there. When they come to you and say, you're the one, nobody else do I want to work with but you, that's the end. That's the easy part. From the back up now, it's like, okay, now what is it? So I think I asked you to kind of do a brief overview, or whatever overview of this chain of beliefs, and then go a little deeper into it. And anyone here, put yours in, ask your questions. This is mightily powerful.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, this is the work that I do a lot with private clients. I do it in Atlas a lot. And if you're watching this right now, and all you have to do is follow along, and I'm going to walk you through this, and just get a piece of paper. That's all you really need to do this. And it will open your brain up to exactly what Scott was saying. Like, how do we move someone who is skeptical about what you do, and whatever it is, to totally believing and them being sold on what it is that you do. And I'm using these words very delicately because this is not about selling somebody, manipulating, or anything like that. It's not bro marketing. It's not like this hard stuff and NLP crap. It's none of that. It's but they're selling themselves throughout the process, and you're allowing them to do that. And the way you do that is by totally understanding the client in a way that nobody else really understands them. And you said something that I really want to touch on first before we begin, because I know that the dream client thingy now is becoming a trend. It's becoming a buzzword. And one of I'm seeing a lot of it myself too. And it's not about getting dream clients into our program. This is all about, at least this is my belief, this is how I do it, this is how I've built Atlas, and it's more of how do I who is the dream client that fits the tribe culture. And it's about getting a brand new friend. It's about collecting, your five buddies that you're always in high school through, like that you just hang together, like, and somebody else wants to be in the group. You're like, I don't know if you really fit. You know what I mean? That's what a dream client is. It's part of a culture. They're a culture fit. They're not a program fit. They're just like, well, this is a great person who's the great for this program, and here's why they're a dream client and stuff. Like, I still think there's a huge gap in understanding really what a dream client is. I'm not saying where you were they don't understand it, but for anybody listening, this is the
Joey, yeah, I'm going to jump in here on exactly what you're saying, because you're exactly right. You said it's not about getting the dream client into your program. And that's what I saw today was, yeah, you got to go find your dream client, you identify them, you find out where they are, and you go do your stuff. And then you bring them into your program, you make the offer. So it's kind of like they change the front piece a little bit, but they're still going into, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do this and I'm going to show a testimonial, and then, join, it's closing. And then the next day I'm going to do this, instead of, dream client fits the culture, fits the tribe, and it wants to enroll and stands in line to enroll and raises their hand and says, I want to be a part of this. I think we talked about it real quick before we started, was where they come and say, yeah, I'm ready to give you my money. I want to give you my money because of everything you've done. I think that's where it's falling apart is, yeah, dream clients. You go find your dream clients and then hit them over the head again. Instead of what we always talk about is find your dream client. Your dream client's going to find you. If you do the right things, they will find you. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's true. It's very true that they will find you. The right dream clients will find you. But again, I see a lot of people talking about this thing, and they muck it all up. Like, it's just they're thinking that, again, it's just like this. You're in Atlas, so you already know this. Like, that there's nuances that the world doesn't know. It's kind of like you see the iceberg, but you have no idea how big it is underneath. Like, you just see the surface, you go, I got it. There's a thing over there. You have no idea what's happening below the surface. And that's what I still feel as though we have as in our tribe. And that's kind of what we protect as much as possible before the world gets a hold of it and tries to muddy it up or make it their own, or like, we got it. So I'm still not convinced that most of the world understands what it is, and that's a good thing for us.
It
And
is a good thing for
so
anybody.
they could just repeat it. It's kind of like, I think Jeff Walker talked about this a lot when product launch formula, and he still talks about this, where he's like, you see PLF, you see it happening, and then you know kind of the concept of it. Oh, there's 3 videos, then there's the sales video, and like you get the concept of it, but you have no idea how to do it and the nuances behind it until you're actually in PLF. And that's exactly how I feel about Atlas.
Well, Joey, as you're saying that, the realization to me also is they're kind of just changing ideal client or avatar to dream client. They're just using the word.
That's what I mean.
To me, the difference that I know now is they say, okay, go out and find your dream client, identify them. And that's what you need to do. You need to go exactly who is it, dream client DNA, dream clients to everything.
Right.
But then you do the benefit breadcrumbs. You do what it takes to get yourself out there with your prefluence and your omnipresence in order for them to say, holy crap, I want to go find out more about this person. I want to watch them. I want to stalk them, so to speak. I want to follow. I want to check things out. I want to download. I want to get on their email. I want to see what it's like to hang out with them. And then they're like, okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. Instead of, well, okay, I found you. Now I'm going to pull you in with emails and this. And it's like, no.
Right. I'm just looking over here on the monitor to see if I can watch the comments at the same time. So I'm not ignoring you.
No, that's okay. I'm used to you ignoring.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Joey, another cool thing about, I'm just going to jump into superpowers for a second. A realization today was, as I'm looking at other groups, is you and I have played with this Facebook group for years now. And what we've learned by accident, like we had no plan with the show, we had no plan. I
Yeah.
mean, you did the group, but it was just all of the things that you go look at other groups and say, well, why are you doing it this way when if you did it this way or this way? And it's like, hey, guess what? I'm starting a new program on how to start your Facebook group. And I'm
Right.
going to do all the things based on my, blah, blah, and 133 episodes. But it's like, no. I mean, I'm just playing with that. I'm kidding. Like
Yeah, for sure. I totally get it. Like there could be a million things that I could create a program about, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I
But
totally get it. You're absolutely right.
that's not, again, it goes to what we've been talking about the last few weeks. So let's get into chain of beliefs before it's 8 o'clock and we're still talking about dream client.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let me see if I can share my screen the right way here. This is the one. So let's see if I could bring this guy up here. Okay, cool. So this is the chain of beliefs, and I've just started this with an idea of where you are, and I want to point out a couple things.
Joey, do me a favor if you could you do like a control plus or whatever the equivalent is to make the whole thing bigger? It's very tiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is trying.
Yeah.
Let me just see here. Is that better? Like that?
The actual lucid chart is taking up only like half of the screen. There's these huge margins on the right. I don't know if you do anything about that.
Yeah. Let me just see here. Let me try to zoom in like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay,
Can't you hide the shapes too on the left
I'll
hand
do my
side?
best. Let me just
Yeah.
zoom in here.
What you got right now is good.
Okay, good. All
There's
right.
you got my at the tipping point. Yeah, I mean, if you brought it down like a half an inch, the tipping point would show. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Go.
All right. So these are the four main pieces to begin with, and you don't even have to do these four pieces, but we're going to end up here. And the first one is the bar stool moment, which is I just named it today because I think that's what it is. We talk a lot about the bar stool moment, right? Like, so what is the bar stool moment? Which is um, the point where you meet the person. Like if you were sitting in a bar in a stool and they sit beside you and they start talking to the bartender, what are they saying? What's the conversation that's going on? That's what who was it? Robert Collier said,
Yep.
like, we enter the conversation that's going on in their mind. That's why I call it the bar stool moment. And it's just basically the starting point of when you meet somebody. Okay. And then there's the must have mindset. We'll talk about that. And then the tipping point. And then obviously, this is the end point that everybody is probably going to have the same thing. I must enroll or must buy. So let's just start brainstorming here and show everybody like how I do this with you and clients and all that. Not because I'm looking for clients here, but just to show you like the process so you can do this yourself. So Scott, let's just do it. Like, tell me who your dream client is and what are they thinking? What do you believe that they need to believe in order to buy from you? We'll just kind of brainstorm.
Okay, so my dream client is a yoga teacher who desperately wants to share her gifts and superpowers with the world. And she's struggling with the whole marketing business side of it because she never learned that. And she wants a simple way to do this. And she knows that she wants to teach online and offer classes or courses or whatever. It's just, again, the confusing information out there. And similar to what we've talked about, they paid for things that don't work. And they just want to find a way to help people with their training.
Okay. What does she believe? Like, what's going on? Like when she sits beside you in the bar, what's going on in her mind? Like, and the before you answer this, anybody who's listening to this, we are always describing this scenario from their point of view. It's coming out of their mouth. So this is where it all changes. So what are they saying, Scott?
She knows it can be done because she's seeing any other yoga teachers online succeeding. So she knows it's possible.
What's possible?
She knows it's possible to get her teaching online and make money, and because she sees other people doing it. So that
Okay.
she believes that it's possible to do it.
Okay, so that's your bar stool moment. Okay, so we'll just keep it at that for now, the bar stool moment there. What? Okay, so then what does she need to believe? Anything else? Let's just brainstorm. It doesn't have to be in order. Let's just get some brainstorming here.
Um, she knows she can do it. She knows she's got the ability to do it.
Okay, that's this one here.
Okay.
I know it's possible to get my teaching online to make money. I believe I believe in myself and whatever. So what is the other thing that she has to believe in order to buy from you? What are some of the objections? What are things going on in her head?
Well, she has to believe that it's going to work. She has to believe that somebody can show her a way that it will work because she's seen
Well,
too many.
this is this one.
Yeah, I know. Keep saying the same thing over and over again.
And that's cool. We're just brainstorming, just pointing these out to you as we go through, because I'm sure that you're not the only one who struggles with this. So what else? Okay, what would you say? Okay, let me ask you this. Maybe you know this. What does she need to believe in the tipping point? And I'll give you an example of my tipping point, which is the dream client, right? The dream, in order to buy from me or to buy into Atlas, let's use Atlas as the example, you need to understand or be open to, either you believe or you're open to looking at this at the scenario that the dream client, what we just talked about 10 minutes ago, is completely different than an avatar. No matter how you define avatar, the dream client is a completely separate entity. It's a separate thing. It's not another exercise to do an avatar. It's a completely separate animal. And once you understand that, once you believe that there is a separation, and that you've done avatar work and you're like, okay, that wasn't enough. Like, I'm obviously not doing dream client work, and I need to do dream client work. That's the tipping point for me. If you can't get past that piece, there's no reason for me to be trying to sell you Atlas or anything that I do. So, as I said, that does anything come to mind that you're saying, no, you got to understand this?
What comes to mind to me is, and maybe I've jumped a little too far, and I know you'll let me know, is that they need to understand that there is a specific formula that will ensure that when they get somebody, a prospect, to come visit them, that they will successfully get them into their experience, I'm going to call it, and forget about calling things funnels, because it is the overall experience. We've talked about, the dream client experience, the dream yogi experience. So that to me is, and maybe I'm jumping it by that, putting my formula in there at this point. I don't know.
No, it's all good, dude. Like, this is why we brainstorm. I just want to get stuff out of your head, then we'll worry about the order of it. So that's cool. So they believe that there's a specific formula. Great. Anything else? Well, let's put the obvious ones in here, which is Scott is the best at
Scott is the only one that can teach me how to get my business started successfully online.
Yeah.
My yoga teaching. He's it. He's the guy I have to have. So you gave me the easy piece, and that's, I think, for everybody, the easy piece.
Yeah, basically that's it. And that kind of connects to this.
Right.
I want to enroll. Okay. So what comes before this? What comes before this one?
Well, I presume before that is the program. They have to believe that my process, I'll use the superpower term, that my process will help them achieve. They have to believe in my process. Because at the end I think that has to come before, because again, as we've talked about, there are other people that do similar process, but this is my proprietary, unique process that they have to believe will help them, and I'm the one to teach it. Or are these the same?
Yeah, they've already. That's this one all wrapped in one. What you just said.
Okay.
Well, it's not easy.
No,
right?
I know
it's not easy. It's like, okay, so let's have a conversation. So let's pretend this is your chain of beliefs, and which I think there still needs to be a little bit more, but let's just play with this for now. That somebody sits down and says, I've been trying to get my yoga class or yoga studio online, and I'm so struggling with it, but I'm not giving up because I know it's possible because I see other people doing it. And I see other people making money online.
Okay, so here's
Then what?
another that just came to me where it fits is I've looked at programs. I've seen what other people are doing, and it just doesn't feel right. I don't believe that they're the ones that are going to serve me. I believe it's too hypey, salesy. So that's in there somewhere, I believe.
Okay. Too hypey, salesy.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
Something like that. Yeah, they do believe that before, and there's got to be a belief in there probably too is uh, what what's going to make this different? Why is this any different than what I've already seen? That's got to be a definite belief and objection in their minds is okay. Yeah. So what are you telling me that anybody else hasn't told me?
Okay, I'm going to put that in here. Let me just see here.
Belief of why should I believe you?
What did you say again? That this is. What would you say? This is
I mean, this
different.
is yeah. This is different than everything else I've seen out there, than what others are professing or teaching. There's a whole different way of doing this.
Okay, we need to really dive into these ones, but I want to get everything out of your head first, so that's
Okay.
good. Okay, anything else?
Ask me the question instead of anything else, please.
Well, what comes next? Like, so if somebody says, like, I'm still looking for the tipping point. You haven't said anything yet that is so proprietary to what you talk about that they they're looking at. It's kind of, this is the old way and this is the new way. What's the new way? Is there anything that you're like, well, yeah, I know everybody does this, but here's the reason what you need to do or believe in order to get what you want.
Yeah, and I don't know where my languaging of the flirt and the cup of tea and the first date comes in. It's that there has to be a belief that there's only one big idea. There's only one thing that you can focus on in this whole process. And I think
Okay.
that's a big piece of it because we talk about that all the time is you can't be everything to everybody. You have to believe that
Okay.
the right way to do this now is to focus on one dream client and one problem, one solution, period.
Okay. So that's good. So then it's like, I need to focus on one dream client, right? Client,
Yep,
and one solution.
right. That's it.
Okay, so now we're cool. So I'm just going to put them kind of in an order here. Let's move this guy out of the way for a second. And, this might be your pivoting point. I don't know, but we'll put it up here. Yeah, we'll put it kind of up here.
I think it is, Joey. It is because I just remember when it came clear to a current dream client, it was like, okay, I finally agree with you. I finally believe that I have to do just one dream client, one solution. That's it.
That's the tipping point.
I think so. At least it just feels right for me at this point.
Okay, so then we're going from here to here, right? So that's their must-have mindset, and then they go from here to here. So you're talking. So let's have the conversation now, and let's play it out. So it would be the person says, "I know that my stuff can get online because I've seen other people do it." And then you turn around, and I'm just making this stuff up. You turn around and say, "Okay, cool. Well, who are you marketing to?" And they say, "Well, anybody who likes yoga."
Right.
And then you say, "That's one of the problems why you can't get online or your business is not working, because you can't be everything to everybody." Or let me back this up. You say, "Oh, that's amazing. Like, what kind of yoga do you do?" And they say, "Any kind."
Right.
And then you get into this. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And so that's the must-have mindset. And then they're like, "What are you talking about? I do all this kind of yoga." And you're like, "No, you can't do that. You can't be everything to everybody." And in order for do the tipping point, and you don't say tipping point in your conversation, but you say, "Well, this if you if you're thing to everybody, everything to everybody, then that's where the problem is. And what you need is to focus on one dream client and one solution." Is that what happens? Is that the
Yeah.
conversation that you feel comfortable with?
That's what I would say. So look, you can't be everything to everybody. First thing you got to do is pick one dream client, just one person you're going to serve, and one problem you're going to solve. That's what you have to. That's the tipping point when they go, okay, yeah. And then I believe somewhere in there they need to believe that the experience, the landing page opt-in formula, but the whole experience has to be purposely created and crafted and architected in a way different than they've been taught, which is build a
Well,
fancy web page and blah blah.
so we're talking about the landing page formula, right? So I must
I
enroll by landing page formula.
I really think so. The more I'm because again, it was yoga teachers or yoga teachers teaching online, and so I got to again go even deeper and say, you know what, this is for those teaching online. It's not really designed for those teaching in studio, although they could use it. But I don't think that I can have two at this point. What's your opinion of that?
Mm,
Because if I say I'm helping yoga teachers, or am I helping yoga teachers who are going online, or yoga teachers who are trying to build their practice in the studio? It's the same thing. It's the same dream client. It's the same solve one problem, give one solution.
mhm.
But do I want to define it even further into the depth of the niche, and limit it to online or just both?
If it's both, if you're talking about brick and mortar,
Yeah,
then if
yeah.
it's brick and mortar, why they wouldn't need a landing page?
Well, but every brick and mortar yoga studio needs a website with a landing page on it, but it's a different experience. It's to get them to come into the studio, not to opt in, get the freebie, get the gift extender, and then bring them along on the journey. So it's a little different because there probably is a gift and a gift extender. The call to action is to come into the studio and
Okay,
practice.
so then as long as like the end result for them is getting somebody to sign up for my studio,
Yeah,
whether that's an online studio or not, that doesn't matter, because your solution, and this is what I want everybody to you know to hear, is this solution that you're helping this person with is the landing page formula. Like, that's
right,
it. It's not like your job ends in this instance, in this context. Your job ends when people opt in. It's not anything else. So like, we have to be very clear on what the solution is for the person. So if they say, "I don't know how to get online and I don't know how to get leads," or whatever like that, let's just pretend that's it.
right,
Then you're saying, and this is what the chain of beliefs is, in order to get them into your landing page opt-in formula, so that they understand what a landing page does, how to make it really work really, really well, and that they're getting leads, the right kind of leads that they want, so that
right.
in the end it will sign up. So
Yeah.
is that what you want to teach them?
Yeah, I want to teach them the whole welcome onboarding experience sequence on how to get rid of your anti-avatar, how to use the flirt, the gift to get them in, then to get them to sign up for more stuff, and then to get them into your tribe, and not mess with other people that you're trying to pull it, and using the formula to do it by helping them.
Well, then it's maybe then it may not be the formula, Scott. You may need to relook at what the offer is. It's
Right,
not the landing page formula, because this is saying that's why I was just going to challenge you on it to say, okay, well, where does the landing page piece come in here? That was going to be my next questions, is when do you start introducing, you need a landing page, right? And
right.
and it's like, once they understand, and that's one of the beliefs would be like, wait a minute, I need a landing page. That would probably be a belief if it's going toward landing page formula. But it
Well,
sounds to me like what you just said, that's not what it is. There's more to it.
what did I say?
You said you want to get them, um, people to opt in with them. Then you want to tell them how to get the nurture sequence and the gift extenders, like the gift after they opt in, and to like all that, like after the fact of the landing page formula. You want to
Right.
help them with that too. And what I'm saying is, as when I looked at, we're looking at the customer journey. You remember in Atlas, I'm telling you, sometimes you help them to a point, then they leave you and they go do it with somebody else, and
Right.
then they come back to your superpower. So if you're telling me that you're saying, I'm going to help you get your business online, I'm going to help you get your business online, and help dream clients, the right dream clients, find you, opt in or get onto your list, or you gather the list, and we'll also go into helping them understand that you are the only studio for them so that they sign up and give you money. That's a completely different thing than the landing page opt-in formula
Right.
in my mind, because landing page opt-in formula is, here's how you do a landing page to get everybody to opt in. That's it.
Right. This is, once you get them to opt in, what do you do with them? And they have to.
Yeah, but
That's
that's not what this is saying. It's a landing page opt-in formula is,
right.
it's at the point of, okay, you got them to opt in.
So the landing page opt-in formula is just a piece of this thing,
It
which I
could
don't.
be. It could be. Yeah. So if this is the only thing you want to teach them at this point, or for this context, then that's it. Like your job ends. It's like, okay, I showed you how to do an opt-in. I showed you that now people are getting opting in, and thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Right.
And they go to somebody else to say, well, now what do I do? Now that
Right.
doesn't mean that can't be you, but if that's
Yeah.
what you also want to do, then that
Yeah.
means your program or your offer changes. It's not
It
the
does.
landing page opt-in formula. That's just part of, that's a piece of it.
That's a piece of it. You're absolutely. It's like, dream client is a piece of Atlas.
Yeah, it's like, here's Atlas. Well, what is Atlas? It's this to create the, group coaching program with no bro marketing and all that stuff. But then there's all these pieces like what I'm teaching you now, or superpower matrix, and all these things are inside Atlas as
Right.
part of, well, here's what you need to do in order to get the thing you want, which is 96% of your time back, reducing or eliminating one-on-one clients and getting a group, like that thing. That's what you want. So if all they want in this way is just show me how to get opt-ins, like just show me how to get leads, not show me how to get leads and what do I do with the leads after I get them, and and not only that, but how do I get them to buy? How do I get them to enroll in my studio?
Hmm.
That's a completely different
Right.
chain of beliefs.
Okay.
Do you agree?
No, I do agree. I do agree. And that's, if we go back to the lucid chart, um, you know, so we need to change it into, I must enroll in the the dream yogi experience. I just made that up. I have no idea what
Yeah,
it is.
and we could just put in Scott's program, but for lack of a better term, right? But
Right.
in the dream,
Yogi experience again, just
okay,
for lack of anything, because as we said at the beginning of this, I don't have anything yet, but that's the end belief. We just have to define what it is. And what I'm learning is I've got to help them more than just, here's your landing page, have fun. Because they're
yeah.
like, what do I do now?
So you see, then what that does, and in my mind, you correct me if I'm wrong, is it eliminates the landing page piece of this chain of beliefs.
Right.
Like you don't really need to talk about that, because they don't really care about the landing page now. What they
Yep.
care about is, how do I get people to enroll in my studio?
Yeah. And there is a system for this. There's a process
Right.
that makes it easy for you to do that. So
Okay.
it's
So now we're on,
yeah.
where is it? There's a specific formula to get someone into my experience right here.
Yeah.
We'll just put it here. Wait, other methods. Where does this go? Is this still in play?
It is still in play because they have to believe that, that, okay, yeah, I'm telling them this is what they need to do. And their belief is like, well, yeah, there's other stuff that promise to do stuff, but their stuff is too hypey and salesy. Um, so I'm not positive it belongs there, but it belongs.
Okay. And then, okay, there's a specific formula to get someone into my experience.
Just change the formula to process for now.
Okay, there's a specific process to get someone into my experience. This is different than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We can put that there, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for adding that.
And then this one here. So now let's play with this. And now we can see where the holes are. So now you tell me, you walk me through the bar stool conversation.
Okay. I know it's possible to get my teaching online and make money. And okay, great. So what kind of yoga do you teach, and who's your dream client? Who you're teaching it to? Who do you want in your studio all the time? Well, I want everybody, and I teach like 9 different things because I love it all. Well, first thing is you can't be everything to everybody. You can't teach everything to everyone. You have to, as my friend Joey says, you have to draw a line in the sand and plant the flag and focus on one dream client, provide one solution to them that you become known for. So with that, I understand, what else have you tried? Like, have you seen anything else? Yeah, I've been in other groups, and I don't like the hype and the salesy. I go in, I join the group, and then all of a sudden they're trying to sell me something, or I opt into their email list, and all of a sudden I start getting offers, and the cart's closing, and only available for this, and it just becomes all salesy, and that's not how I am, how I show up. Okay, well, there actually is a specific process that will get somebody into your sequence that's not hypey, that's not salesy, that you don't have to be a salesperson. It does it for you. And that's what they have to believe next. And
Okay,
then
well, hold it right there.
okay.
I mean, again, we're just playing with this, and I know we're doing this off the seat of our pants.
Something
So
new and different for us,
yeah,
Joey.
but I mean, I'm just gonna just throw things back at you and invite you to look at this situation here, where is if you said this to somebody, which you're not because it's just there now, but it would be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like my mind is going to, look, you're doing this wrong. There is a great way to do this. And in order for me to tell you what this is, you got to give me money. Like that's where my mind is going with it.
That's
So
okay. Yeah.
so we
I hear.
need to go
Yeah.
like, what is the thing that you could teach them at this point or talk about that says, oh, like that's cool. Or are you relating this back to the one
Well,
solution, which I'm not really sure it connects those, Scott. I'm really
here,
not sure, but
here's what here's where I would go with this, Joey. And at this point, I would probably say, the first thing that you need to consider is how can you give them something immediately that will give them the solution that they're looking for. That they come and say, this is exactly what I needed, that you can help them with a transformation or teach them something that they go, wow, kind of like Eben Pagan's dating. Wow, that was easy. When's the best time to kiss a woman on a first date? So that you deliver something, one of your superpowers, one of your gifts that's so amazing that they go, I want more of this. That's the first thing that you need to do before you create a course and a bonus and which should I do first and next. And what should I do and how should I sell? The first thing you need to do is, give them something amazing that's going to give them a return on investment, an ROI. You're going to woo them. You're going to win them over. That's my thing, is you woo them. I was told that's one of my superpowers by a Marriott higher up.
Okay. I need to give them something. So right now, do they believe? They don't believe this?
I think they might believe it, but I think it needs to be, it's not a free posture video. It's got to be, I need to give them something amazing that will immediately give them a result. Because an ebook or a video or a pose or a posture, they have to believe that it has to be so concise and provide a solution so easily, so quickly that it's a no-brainer.
I got to think about this because I think we're getting into the application of like what you teach in the course itself, as
Right.
opposed to, we're getting too deep into that piece.
Because Joey, here's what I would say to her. If I was sitting next to her, I'd say, it's, the first thing you need to do is give them something 30 seconds to a minute that's going to show them exactly what it's like to engage with you, to join you to that, and give them a solution to something that they're struggling with right now. You heard me talk about that all the time. And to me, that's what I would say to her. And that's what I'm saying to people is, what's the one thing you could teach them right now that they could learn in a couple of minutes that will make a difference in their practice, in their life, in their world, to say, holy cow, singing your song in their head. Oh, that's kind of what I would say, or what I do say to somebody at this point.
Okay, I'm just going to look at, I just want to get my chain of beliefs up here to give an example that might, where is it here? Spark some ideas. Where are you? There we go. Products. This guy. I think I can bring them over and share the same thing. Okay, I can. All right, cool. So this is what I mean, like after the pivot point, where these things, like you see, they need to believe that they don't need funnels or pushy ads or pushy marketing tactics that don't align or work for me anymore, that they can be themselves and it's easier to attract dream clients rather than being somebody else. You see where this is getting into their brain, like how they've
And
been brainwashed, and that's what I'm looking for.
I
And
and
then
I
this one is a big one too, which is, wait a minute, I can still build like a six-figure business and actually do 96% less without a massive following or list. You see what I mean? Is that there's not, I'm not telling them like, here, like you need a superpower matrix to do this part and or like anything like that. So that's what I'm looking for here is, what do they need to believe and what do they already believe and
well,
what do
and
they
that
need to believe?
it's you actually, mine is not that much different, Joey, than yours, right there, because it's about at that point that I don't need expensive coaches. I don't need to learn how to do social media advertising, and I don't need to learn pushy, sleazy sales tactics that's so incongruent to being a yogi.
Okay, so this is what I like right here. I don't need social media advertising,
Right.
right? If that's what you can promise and that that's true, but that's
Yeah.
a big one. This is where they are looking at somebody else, even like they're down here, and they're going, "Oh, I know the reason why this person did it because they're doing social media advertising or they've got a bigger following or whatever." And you're
Yeah.
saying you don't need that. If you have this, you don't need this.
And I think another is I don't need a huge list. I think that's out there too. I'm not positive, but I don't need a huge list to Well, I don't need 800,000 followers like, Yogi Susie to be successful, to make a living, to make a difference. I
Hmm.
think that's a big misnomer, and you got to have an Instagram following, and you got to go live every day, and uh,
Yeah. So they're
so
they're they're matching up to what I have in Atlas there. Um,
yep,
is there anything specific to your market that that you could put in here? So how does this look now? Uh, uh, I need to focus on a dream client. Um, there's something missing here. Like I don't know if the conversation goes right to this or not, but the way you spun it before was good because you're like, okay, cool. What other methods have you
right,
tried? Like once they say, because they could come back with this and say, for example, you say, look, you need one focus, one dream client, and one solution, and then they argue back or debate you and say like, no, I've heard that you need a lot of people, and the only
right,
way to make a lot of money is to market to everybody
right.
and to have a lot of different programs out there.
Yep, multiple offers.
And so to that, what would you say? Like, so would you then have more of a conversation around this? And then they're like, okay, I kind of see that.
I
And
would have more of a conversation around it. I would go, into the dream client conversation is, who would you like to hang out on a dream island with, on a yoga resort, and teach all day and hang out with them day and night? What's the one thing you'd want to help them with? If that's the only thing you could do and you focused on that, not worried about anything else, and the overwhelming confusion and scatterbrainness of it all.
okay, so then where does the social media come in? I think that does it come in before this? Like, how do I get these dream clients? And then
Yeah, I
because
think it comes in because they're being told that you need to go live all the time. You need to advertise on social media. You need to go buy traffic and Facebook ads and hire a thingy and Facebook manager and stuff.
and we can combine these now. So I don't need
Yeah,
a social media. I don't need social media advertising or a huge list of people,
yeah,
followers, whatever. Huge list of
yeah,
followers. That's kind of what goes next.
yep.
Um, and then um, other methods are pushy. Um, I don't know. Maybe it does come here. Like maybe it does. Like it's like okay,
Well,
I
now
get this. Go ahead.
here's here's a question for you now and for everybody, Joey. Is I'm so new in the research of the market that some of this is I'm making it up, we're making it up,
Yeah.
and until I actually verify it over the next 24 hours and go in and see, is this what they're talking about? We're it's like obviously 180 degrees from starting with nothing and seeing how it's not easy, but it's now I believe I need to look at it, play with it, and
Yep.
go use this as kind of like a reference guide, go in and start reading things and talking to people and seeing if there's something missing, and are they using this language.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this is where I mean we've done a lot of work on this as well. So you're right. It's like it's always going to be your first best guess on
Yeah,
what you think, and you're going to start hearing trends or um, what is it called? Like the objections or beliefs, right? This is what I believe that why I can't do it or why someone else is doing it better than me or whatever it is. And those objections, the more you hear about like how they're saying it becomes part of the chain of beliefs. Because if they don't believe certain things, then obviously it has to go in your chain of beliefs somewhere. So it's not like this is so important that everybody needs to understand this. I want all of you to think about this. Is when you're doing the chain of beliefs, it's not about selling your program.
right,
Like if you're selling your program in the chain of beliefs, you're doing it wrong.
right,
It's about getting them to the point to say, "I need your program," but based on the beliefs of how it's going to change their life, not about the features, benefits of the thing itself or the features of the thing. Like you're going to
Right.
learn this thingy and you're going to learn that thingy. That's not what the chain of beliefs is, right?
I think
It's
the important part of this too, Joey, and you said it just in passing, is the chain of beliefs are their objections. And the objections are these deep seated beliefs. That's what an objection is, a deep seated belief that they have that we need to address. And that's why this is, to me, such a better way to address objections as
right.
in beliefs, so that you're having a conversations instead of, you know, just stating the objection and, you know, responding to the objection. This is a different, more foundationally important way to address them.
Yeah. And like these pieces here, you'll know these pieces right away. The must have mindset, which is I can't be everything to everybody. Like that might even be a tipping point. I don't know. But over the next little while, as
Yeah,
you look in the conversations, you'll start to see things that you're always responding to and saying too. Like, wait a minute, have you looked at it this way? Have you looked at it that way? If you find yourself, and not just you, Scott, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to everybody. If you find yourself explaining your process or your thing, it's probably not right in terms of when
yeah,
it goes into the chain of beliefs. The only thing that I talk about, I really don't talk about anything in the chain of beliefs really in mine, except for there's a difference between an avatar and a dream client. That's it. And um, I don't go into the process of it, but I teach them if there's somebody says, I don't understand what you mean. I've already done avatar work. And that conversation happens a lot because at that tipping point, they're like, what are you talking about? I've already done all this work. That conversation might get into, well, here's the difference between a dream client. So I'll teach them that. The dream client is a friend and like all that kind of stuff. So that conversation will extend from that tipping point. And then that's the point when they go, oh, I got you. Right. So that's what I mean. I'm not really teaching them a process. I'm teaching them the secret or the belief behind it so that they totally get that. Then they totally understand it because I know that they have to believe that. And I know that most of them, my clients or dream clients in training will say, no, I already know what a dream client is. And I'm like, probably not. Let me explain it to you so we make sure we get it. And they don't come from that like a ivory tower place, but like, okay, let's make sure. So tell me a little bit more about your dream client.
yeah,
And then when they describe, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's the avatar. That's what I mean. And here's what I believe is a dream client difference, right?
yeah. And I want to make a point here, Joey, in that I've been doing this marketing stuff for a long time, and you and I combined have been doing this for a long time. And I want to thank you for helping me and everybody go through this the way we did. For me, the realization is it's like, okay, I didn't just do the chain of beliefs, I just started it.
Exactly.
Kind of like anything, whether it's an escalator speech or a mission statement, you write it, you start it, and then it evolves over time. Same way when we started years back, playing with everything that you're doing, and it just, we'd sit there and say, well, is this the right languaging? And now you've just got it down after a couple of years, and it ain't easy. It's
No.
not for me that does this, and it's a so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mine and yours and I'm going to study them. And then I'm going to go out, like I said, in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, and go find these conversations around this and see if I'm missing anything. And then I can figure out what the product is, maybe hopefully in the next few days, if it's time yet. Again, I just want to stress that is I don't have a gun to my head
Yeah.
that says I have to have a product and offer a thingy, a launch. That was the old nightmare life.
Yeah.
And now it's people like, well, I got to make money. I was like, yeah, I do. And I've made other arrangements to go do some things to make money, to come back here and be able to do this.
Yeah.
So I don't. We've gone like, wow. We no comments, no questions. We haven't talked to anybody other than you and me, and that's different than. But we said we were going to do different because that's what we do. Is we do different. We planned something tonight because it was just too important that I would believe that most of the people, and this is just a belief, most of the people in the community haven't gone to this depth in the chain of beliefs and have moved on to, because they I got to get my course out, I got to get my offer out, I got to start my tribe, I got to start, I got to, gotta. And that's why, to me, it was so important that we did this tonight. And again, I'm so grateful for you taking it through me, because now it, on a different level, I get to start playing and osmosizing and thinking and think time now every day. It's going to be like, okay, this is going to go up on the whiteboard, I'm sure, in the next 24 hours. And I've cleared out my space, and I like it now with getting to both whiteboards. Even though I loaned somebody my desk, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's going to go somewhere else when it comes back, because it's just open and energy. So,
yeah, this is kind of where we were playing with. I know some people are just joining us now. Thanks for being here live, Emma and Roshan. We were just playing with the chain of beliefs, and we're just brainstorming. And I know it's if you're first seeing this or trying it yourself, that it doesn't happen overnight. Mine didn't happen overnight. Mine happened over the course of a year or two, and I'm still working on it. I think I've nailed it pretty good, but it
yeah,
doesn't mean that I don't play with it. And even recently, I added the box where somebody said about the calm marketing or something like that. I think I still
yeah,
have the document here, or maybe I don't have the document. All right. Yeah, like the calm marketing and things like that, where I was hearing it a lot over and over again. And then I just added that because I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Or no, it was about I can be myself. That was it. It was like I can be myself and I can do calm marketing. I don't have to do pushy stuff. And I kept hearing that again and again and again. And I realized that they either didn't know, they didn't believe that they had to be somebody else, or they secretly were saying, I hate trying to put masks on and being somebody I'm not. And then I come along and say, by the way, the greatest part is you just can do this by being yourself and not
right,
being anybody else, and it's just a relief for them. And like, really, I don't know if I get that, because everybody else is telling me this other thing over here, and I'm like, yeah, well, I don't believe that's true. I believe you can be yourself, and that's a belief.
right,
And they cross that, because I don't, as you know, I don't want anybody in my world that fakes it till they make it type of thing. Is like, be yourself and
yeah.
attract the right people. So you're right.
Again, yeah, it's like a lot of what we do. I told you yesterday, I sat outside with the entire folder of everything that has to do with Atlas and Dream Client, and just went over everything. And I believe that, to me, I've got to keep doing that.
Yeah.
The more I learn, the more I go out and find out that I need to just keep looking at each one and saying, what is this, and what is this, and what is the victory path, and what's all the canvas, and just going through it until it's nailed. And again,
Yep.
planting the flag in the sand and saying, this is exactly who I am, what I do, who I serve, how I help. And this was, again, another powerful piece of it, that I know that I have to spend a lot more time with it. It's not like, okay, great, Joey helped me do it, it's done, great, let's move on. No, I'm not even going to think about the offer yet. For
Yeah, and I think that what you need, as well, Scott, if I could add that piece, would be to really look at what is the oasis that they want.
Yeah,
Like, really understanding what that oasis is. Yes, I want, you know, enrollment of clients in my yoga studio, but try to define it even more about what that means to them. And it could very well simply be that, but I think that's where your oasis is. Like, how do I go from not being online and seeing other people do it to being online and having my yoga studio up and running? Like, that's kind of the oasis. And that's where your victory path comes in.
yeah.
What are the 3 or 4 milestones that they need to cross to get to that point? And that's where
And
the chain of beliefs, but the chain of beliefs comes in before that, right? It
as
comes in.
yeah, and Joey, as you're saying this, I'm realizing that I have to choose. That, as you're saying that, it can't be both of them. It's got to be in the beginning the focus on the one that wants to go online, that wants to sell their courses, their training, their teaching, their whatever.
Okay, so hold on a minute, because I just got a brainstorm and I want to put it into your chain of beliefs. Here it is, which is, dang it, where's your chain of beliefs? Where is your? I can't find the. Oh, there it is. I minimized the dang thing. Okay, here it is. Okay, it was my yoga. Oh, never mind. Forget it, dude. We've already done it right here. The barstool moment. Okay, because you were just saying you were defining like that person has to be, that they need to put their thing online, and I was going to go, wait a minute, that's a defining belief or a thing that they need to understand, that wait a minute, I can teach online, I can use Zoom or like digital they don't need to be in my physical space in order for me to do this. Like that was where I was going with this, but we've already got that.
That's where I decided, because I was waffling. Now it's got to be that. It can help get people into the studio, but that's not what this is about.
Right. So you see, you've already now eliminated another part of the market.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, I got a yoga studio. Can you help me? And you say, what, help you go online? And they're like, no. And you're like, no, sorry, that's not what I do.
That's not what
Right. And that's scary. Right.
That is, because that's originally a big part of what I like to do. But the realization is, no, it's the dream clients that are finding me, that reach out, want to, I know what the Oasis is. They want to teach yoga and travel the world and teach yoga in different countries and be able to have that flexibility to live that freedom lifestyle and teach. And
okay, so you see, now it's all coming out, Scott. Like now what you're saying, go back to this recording and put all that stuff in.
Yeah.
Because it's so important. And now the question is to you and everybody listening, when you're looking at yourself and doing either something like this, or what is the promise, or who do I serve? Let me ask you this, Scott. If I put two of those yogis in front of you, the person who wants to go online and live all over the world and teach from their laptop, or the person who is the brick and mortar person and build their studio, which one is easier for you to do if you had to choose?
the online one.
Okay. And that's important, because you don't want yeah, whoever that is, you saw that, right? It just got exciting with what you said, right? Exactly.
It got exciting with what you said. Thank you, Monica.
I saw it like right away.
Yeah.
Right. So you were talking about a specific person who wants a specific thing that lights you up too, because it sounds to me like you want the same thing too, that you'd like to travel all over the world and teach from your laptop too, and not worry about boundaries, right? Maybe that's part of what your dream life is all about.
My dream life is sitting in a yoga studio and can take this anywhere in the world and do what I do. So yeah, right. It is. And that's another thing about dream clients, when you really get deep into there and they do their superpowers, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, that's me. That's right. Why I like hanging out with them, because I like hanging out with myself.
Yeah. And so, and this is a defining moment, because I'm hopefully this will help everybody listening to you right now to now draw another line in the sand and say, it's not any yoga studio, it's on people who want to go online specifically.
Well, and Joe, it was, I wanted to help yogis and healers.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's two. And if it were me, I'd say to me, which one? I said, okay, yogis. And then you said something like, anybody that takes yoga. I was like, no, just yoga teachers.
Right.
Okay. Well, and, okay. Any yoga teacher? No, a yoga teacher that wants to take her practice online and succeed with it, because that's within my superpowers. Can I help somebody with a yoga studio? Yep. Yeah, I've run one for a year. But guess what? That's not my superpowers, because that involves a whole different thing. Whereas I want to just show you how to get your course, your training, your your whatever it is, your lives, your Zoom, your that, your Facebook group, and get the whole experience set up so that you can
Right.
go travel and live the life you want with a dream life, with a dream business, with dream clients.
And I want to bring up another point here, for any that we talk about a lot inside the program, but for somebody who's not in it, just to understand this is why we're saying this is that where we have to, like, a dream client is not someone who where you have to alter what it is your one solution for them, like in a massive way. And that's what you would have to do if you
Yeah.
were teaching. Let's say you had this program and it's obviously brilliant, helping people get online, their yoga studios online, and then a yoga studio, another one didn't, who's not online, said, hey, can I take this and use it in my thing? And you're like, yeah, for sure. Like, we'll just have to, we don't have to do this, we won't do this, we won't do that, and we'll have to do this. You'll have to make adjustments to it. And so it doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just that it becomes it becomes a distraction. You're always making adjustments, where the dream client that goes into your dream life means that you're doing the same thing again and again and again that you love, that is so easy for you to do, that you love to do, that you can turn around and get the transformation for them. And so everybody has the best dream life they can. Not about, well, let me make adjustments here and make this actually fit into your world, right?
What's really interesting and scary here, Joey, you said it before, is okay, I've never come in saying I can help everybody that's yoga. No. It was like,
Right on.
yoga teachers. But
Right.
then it's like, okay, yoga teachers that want to go online, but then it got more scarier and exciting at the same time, because now I'm shrinking it and saying, no, it's just those of you that want to live a dream life teaching yoga and be able to go with your laptop to the coolest places and teach from there. And so that's like, even because I want those enrolling in that say, this is the life I want. Not. So now I've eliminated even more people. And that, like I said, exciting and scary at the same time. But again, if I looked at the number of people teaching yoga who, want that, there is a dream client out there, and there's enough of them
Yes.
that want that life.
Yes.
And so it's exciting and scary. I've said that 3 times, and you said it as well. But it's what it has to be, because you got to. Okay, so now I should stop saying I've drawn the line in the sand, planted the flag, and cemented it in, because I'm not fully yet ready to cement it in. But I keep drawing the line even further, closer,
It's amazing.
until, because then it goes to what we've talked about. Well, I just want to put my stuff online and play with it. Well, really isn't the guy for me. He could probably teach me, but I really want to do this, and this is the life I want. This is the guy.
And
And so,
can you see now, Scott, how what we're talking about here is eliminating more and niching down and all this stuff goes right back to the dream client DNA? And can you
yeah,
see how, maybe, I don't know if this is you or not, but you go through the dream client DNA and you might rip through that too fast because you really haven't defined the magic dream client.
right.
And because, again, it's our brains stop us. And no matter how many times I say to somebody, look, just wave a magic wand and you had the perfect person,
Yep.
our brains still fight it. Well, it's impossible. There would be nobody who is this thing. But that's, and now I'm sure you've just defined things that are, I shouldn't say sure, but I would bet that there's things that you just said that aren't on your dream client DNA.
I know they're, because they're not on there yet. Like I said, tomorrow in my think time, I go outside with this and I go through everything again, all of it. And I'm saying that because if you really want to understand this, and it's not just understanding this from an educational learning knowledge standpoint, this has got to become osmosized in you, and you have to embody this in you and keep going back to it over and over and over again until it gels into, yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for being like a major guinea pig throughout
My,
this whole process. And thank you for being amazingly vulnerable and not knowing some of the answers, because I know it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. and I know it's even harder for some people to get on live and go broadcast to the world and say, I don't really know, I'm stuck, I don't know what, because
Yeah.
and so I honor you for that, and I know it's not hard, and I'm glad that you did this because yeah, I just honor you for that. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to help you through this, but more importantly, grateful that you were allowed us to just pick on you today
Thank
in a
you.
nice
And
way.
I am appreciative and grateful, and I feel honored. And I hope that somebody watching this can see that what it takes to do it. And you got to get vulnerable, and you got to not know.
Hmm.
And I was kidding with somebody today. I said, I don't know anything about anything. It's easier that way, but I know who knows the answers. It just,
Yeah.
and with this was, again, I'll bring it full circle. We've talked about this. I've seen it. I've gone through it in Atlas, and I needed to do this so that I can continue to evolve it in my brain, in my being, and how I process, so that it becomes a natural part of the process. And then I've got to teach it to somebody else so that it becomes even more powerful in me to take somebody else through it, which makes it stronger for me, which makes it stronger for you, and the whole effect of it all becoming more powerful. So I appreciate it and thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I give credit to Rich Sheffrin, where I first learned it from. And you're right, like what you just said is absolutely true. Because when I first did this, like I told you, I didn't really, yeah, and I didn't really do it. And then I finally did it for myself. And then
Yeah,
I began teaching it, and it becomes more powerful the more that I teach it. So the same thing will happen to you. So awesome. And you are very welcome. I think this has to be Monica, right?
that's Monica again. That's what's really awesome. Thanks. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. I think this is something that everybody should listen to because of its value to. This has nothing to do with us again, Joey. This is how do we help our people, and I think this was, again, thank you for being willing to do this and unpack your genius with the chain of beliefs. And again, I'm going to say how important I believe it is because I asked you to do this. And
Thank you.
in 130 some odd episodes, we planned maybe two of them.
Yeah.
That was it. This was too important. And Emma says, absolutely, I'm going to rethink my dream client profile and get clarity. Thanks, Scott Vogel and Joey. You're welcome, Emma. And I would love for you to share what you've learned in your chain of beliefs because it's just, again, and the dream client profile deeper and deeper because you've heard me say this, Joey. Let's make a movie. I've got to go now make a movie, and I have to cast this person, and I have to have this conversation in reality with her and go through the chain of beliefs and see is
Yeah,
this
that's a really good analogy, like the way you look at it, because a casting director, that's why there's so, I mean, there's not great casting directors, but the ones that are great, you
yeah,
know, that's their job, that's their brilliance, that's their superpower. That when somebody walks in the room, they're like immediately, this is not the person. Like it doesn't, they just
yeah,
know, and that is a great way to look at the dream client scenario. Is like when you speak to somebody and you have this conversation, whatever it is, immediately this is a person, this is a hell yes or a hell no.
yeah. That's so important. And I'll thank you again for being willing to share your genius and unpacking and decoding the chain of beliefs because it needs to be. And I'm excited to see what Emma comes up with, and what Monica comes with, and anybody else when you really go back and look at everything again, because it'll change everything. Like
Exactly.
you know, now when I do the DNA tomorrow, there's going to be some things in there that weren't there. And the more, again, Joey, like you said, when we first started playing with this, you didn't have any of this. You're like,
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And over the last few years, it's just more and deeper and evolved to who is this dude? Oh, he's the Dream Client dude. No, it's not Avatar. It's Dream Client. He's the dude. Go, let Joey help you get through this.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. I just put the Facebook group in the comments. If you want to join our Facebook group, Scott is in there, Emma's in there, Monica's in there. I can't remember, or Roshan's in there. I don't know who else, if I forgot you, because I can't see any of the names. It just says Facebook user on my side.
Yeah.
But join us in there, heart-centered people. who are changing the world, serving the world in a very, very heart centered way. It's a very, very cool group. I hope that if that's who you are, you join us in there and join in the conversation. And if not, that's cool. We're here every single Tuesday and we talk about all kinds of stuff, marketing made easy to make your life a little bit easier to build your dream business with dream clients. So we'll